38% of Americans have one thing in common. Health concern of brain cancer. Top 7 survey done by the Mayo Clinic in 2016, where, I'm going to go ahead and write this so you can see, 2016. The Mayo Clinic had determined that the majority of the United States had 7 top health concerns. We're going to go over the first health concern, and by the end of this video, you should know what brain cancer is, why people get brain cancer, and what types of ways can we prevent brain cancer. So we'll start off with, what is brain cancer? I'm going to draw a brain. And it's probably not going to be the best brain you've ever seen, but squiggly lines. It's good enough, right? Okay, so here's your brain and your brain stem. Once you determine that there is a cell that does not belong in the brain, that means you have brain cancer. You may notice symptoms of aphasia or not speaking accurately, motor control is lost, sensation is lost. A lot of similarities to CVAs, however, in a different way. Typically, the benign brain cancer is almost very rare. And the other type of brain cancer would be the metastasis brain cancer, and that is what is going to be a cell that's generated in another part of the body, say from a lung cancer, a breast cancer, some type of other cancer, and the cell is going to find its way up through the blood barrier, break off from the primary origin of the cancer, and travel up to the brain. Once it gets to the brain, it's going to start to burrow and it's going to start to grow. Now, if it gets to the point where many tentacles, as we call them, almost octopus looking, start to reach out and start to strangle the rest of your brain, then it has become a glioblastoma. Let's write that. A glioblastoma. Oma meaning opening, blast meaning expansion, and glio are the ganglion in the brain. Okay, now on to the why. Why do we get brain cancer? Here's why. Some of the reasons that you may develop brain cancer. It can be external environmental dangers or internal. Like we said before, the metastasis, this is hard to write backwards. Metastasis would be an internal brain cancer, and it would, internal cancer. It would start in another area of the body, it would break off, and it would move, it would travel, and it would travel to the brain. Now, there is a brain-blood barrier. However, once immune system has been compromised, that barrier becomes weaker, causing, the abnormal cells to get in and affect the cells that are good. Good or bad, well, normal, I don't know. So that would be the why. That's a why of why you get brain cancer. And like I said, very rare. So it's a little puzzling why 38% of America is worried about getting brain cancer, right? Once you have it, of course you want to know what can I do? What can I do to make myself feel better? What can I do to get rid of it, right? All right, so here's what you can do. What you can do is, number 1, don't smoke. Let's do a don't, and we'll draw a little cigarette. Don't smoke. If you already do smoke, try your best to quit. If you have not started smoking, don't. Another tip, physical activity. Physical activity is going to produce the synthesis of nitric oxide in your body, which is going to oxygenate and move the normal, and I would say normal in the world of, move the cells that need to be helping out other cells, moving around, okay? Number 3, of course, eat healthy. If you did not know, my handwriting is terrible. If you did not know, sugar is not needed in the human body. Salt is needed. So with all of the anti-salt sodium talk that goes on, you should probably pay more attention to the anti-sugar. If you eat a lot of sweets or you have obesity, you are going to have a propensity for cancers, because cancer cells love, just like we do, sugar. So they're going to feed off that, and that helps them multiply faster and stronger. Cancer, again, is a replication, duplication, multiplication of an abnormal cell, pure and simple. I know it entails a whole lot more of that personally, but we'll keep facts here. No alcohol. Why no alcohol? Alcohol is a major proponent of sugar. To get alcohol, you have to ferment a lot of items. Let's say wines, corn, potato, or vodka, whatever you're fermenting to get your alcohol, okay? No alcohol. And number 5, let's do our 5 top ways to prevent cancers. Now, this leads to, please check with your doctor with any medical concerns that you have. Please understand that I am not here to cure, heal, or prevent any diseases. I am merely here to inform you, and individual results apply with everybody in any path that they choose. So the best way to consult with your doctor is to continually keep your maintenance appointments, your doctor appointments. That means if you're 50 or over, you don't feel good. I mean, you feel good, so you're like, I'm not gonna go to the doctor. Typically 50 or over, you will have your mammogram, if you're female, or maybe a male, your mammogram, your pelvic pap smear, your 45 and over, you're gonna have your colonoscopies, check for any type of colon cancers. Once you're 60, that's when you get into the immunizations of pneumonia. And also, immunizations have been known to boost the immune system, which is going to boost against abnormal cells trying to develop in your body, which is also another way to prevent cancers, to keep your immunizations current and be immunized. Now, our last topic is going to be what can you do once you have it, or what can you do to prevent it? Once you have it, you'll go through, that'll be your choice, your series of path between you and your doctor that you decide to do. It could contain radiation, chemotherapy, epigenetics, other types of, radical treatments, or you could choose to go the homeopathic way. One of the ways to prevent it, and this is very interesting, which I found to be particularly interesting. I'm not going to make any correlations, but I am going to say that I try to do all of the methods that I just talked to you about to take care of your body and prevent cancers. There is a natural plant, and it was discovered in 2018 by a lab in Boston, that it's typically thought of as a weed. And they thought, looking at nature and looking at homeopathic, looking at everything that used to be, why don't we go back and look at that again? And they did, they took some powder of it and they sprinkled it over a glioblastoma cell, and it did diminish the cell. Now, that is great news, but of course there needs to be further testing, verifications, journal reviews, peer reviews, all that stuff. But let's just stick to the natural aspect of that conversation. There was an English poet, her name was Amelia Barr, and she stated that anything that is simple in its productivity is marvelous. Meaning, an example would be the willow tree was developed and not developed for, but found to be a key ingredient in aspirin. The foxglove plant, foxglove, contain proponents to help cardiac patients. Now, what you and I were talking about is brain cancer. There are anti-inflammatory antioxidants called terpenoids. Terpenoids. An example of that would be like keratin, a tocopherol, a vitamin E, a tocotrienol. And you can look up all the examples of terpenoids. Terpenoid is the plant that they use to drop on the glioblastoma cell, the brain cancer. And it was known to help with anti-inflammatory. So the best thing that we need to look at will be, we know that, as Amelia Barr said, it is always the simple that produces the marvelous, but I think that Diana Slater says, the marvelous has always been here. We just need to return to producing it.
For more information on terpenoids, follow me on Facebook at In Sweetie We Trust.